What's going on, Average Joes? I'm finally back with another video, back to our regularly scheduled, hopefully, how my planning schedule comes out for all of my videos on Sundays and Wednesdays. We're in our new house, still in the process of moving in, but most of our furniture is here, just trying to get my office and everything set up. So a little bit bare bones for now. Have no idea how I'm going to arrange my office or my studio. But I need to put out some videos, and I've been wanting to put out a lot of videos anyway. As I've been on my hiatus, it's been a while. So today I wanted to talk about a new segment that I'm coming out with as well. So a new video segment or video series that I want to come up with, and that is called the Top 3 from Me. So I thought of this idea because there's so many list videos out there, and sometimes the list videos do the best. I know I make up a lot of random lists about whatever I want. Everybody has these list videos, and while list videos are great because they can serve a certain theme, and if you're looking for certain themes and certain things, then the list videos are awesome too, and it's just easier to watch. But I also was getting some feedback from like friends, family, and stuff. People that aren't in the booktube space as much, people that don't know about as many books a lot. And I know that when I go through my list videos, they were kind of saying that like I wasn't saying enough about what the book was about. And there's times where I do glance over books because to me, they're pretty popular and well-known and talked about. But to other people that don't watch a lot of booktube videos, they're just like, okay, well, I don't know what that's about, but I know you mentioned it. So it got me thinking like, okay, I still want to do some lists, but I also want to be able to talk about the books even more. So this top 3 from me is going to be very small. So it's going to be only going to be 3 books each on each of these videos, and they're going to be in a niche type category. So these categories can be, anything from like some of them might be a little bit broad just because of what I know and what I've read, and then for more of what I know and like, they might get a bit more narrow. So today's, for example, what I'm going to talk about for my first top 3 from me are books with clever plots. So what this is going to be is is 3 books that I'm going to recommend, 3 of my top ones that serve this purpose of a clever plot. So if you're looking for a book that has a very clever plot, or a series that has very clever plot that you want to be wowed by the reveal at the end, by how smart the setup is, by how everything kind of matters as you go through, books to pay attention to, not necessarily mysteries. I might do mysteries in another one, but this is more of like fantasy books that have a very clever plot. So that's what this top 3 from me are going to be. So not to rhyme too much, but it's just a way for me to recommend. It's a smaller recommendation book. If you're looking for something niche in these categories, then I'm going to be able to talk about them a little bit more. So they're going to be coming out. I don't know how many I'm going to be doing, but it's just a video series that I'm going to try and do from here on out. And as I talk about these, let me know what your top 3 from you are going to be for these prompts. So I'm going to get into the top 3 books with clever plots. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Queen's Thief series. This is a 6-book series. I'm actually about to get the 6th book soon because it released a year or 2 ago, but not in paperback, and I own all of them in paperback. Anyway, the Queen's Thief, it starts off with a thief that is in jail, and there is, I think, a queen or that needs him to steal something for her. There's this like legendary artifact that nobody's been able to get or recover, and somehow he knows how to do it, but he's in jail, so they will agree to free him from jail to go and get this artifact, this magical thing. And along the way, the first book is kind of slow. I know that's what a lot of people say, and the protagonist just seems kind of, I wouldn't say whiny, but like it's the dynamic hasn't really evolved yet, because he's being under guard as he's going through this by 2 other people, and they're kind of just he's still tied up. He's still like basically held hostage or held prisoner. So they get to this thing, and he has to figure out how to get this artifact out, almost Indiana Jones style. And how he figures out how to do this, how to get it out, is clever in itself. But then at the end of the book, there's even an even more, I guess, a somewhat of a big reveal, but there's still more at play. And I've read the first 3 of the 6 books. At the end of every book, there's always a big reveal and a big like plot twist type moment where you're like, oh, holy crap. And like it's not something that comes out of nowhere, because as it's revealed, as it's presented, it's like, oh, okay, I see this now. And then you think back all the things that happened, and they even sometimes give a little bit of a recap, like, oh, that's why they did this, that's who this person was, da da da. And at the end, it's just like a big, it's kind of like a heist reveal, kind of like an Ocean's 11. This is how it happened, but not as like info dumpy. Like, so that's why I think Queen Steve is awesome, because each book can serve as its own like really clever plot, and so you can break them up individually. I know after I read the first one, I binged the first three just because I really was into it, and I had to force myself to stop because I read these years and years ago, and the sixth book hadn't been out yet for a while. So now I'm finally going to get the sixth book, and I'll try and fit them in. They're also really short, or mostly really short, really fast reads. So they're really, really good to throw in if you're looking for a plot that you want a clever, fun plot. The next one is going to be the Truly Devious Trilogy. Talk about this one in a few videos as well. This is a great mystery series. It is somewhat of a murder mystery, but also there's bigger mysteries at hand. So I guess at the heart, it is a murder mystery, but it takes place at this university, at this very exclusive high school university. I don't know if it's a like boarding school type deal for high schoolers with that are like specially selected, who are yeah, they are specially selected either way. And one of the girls, the main girl that I think Stevie, that you have the main POV from, is obsessed with this school. She knows everything about this school. She's accepted in this school because she wants to go into criminal justice. And there is a murder the timeline happens now in recent days. And there was a murder that happened like 100 years ago or something, like in the teens, I think, early 1900s, either way. And she knows everything about the school, everything about the murder, everything about everything except who did it. So she comes to school because not only does she want to do that, but she knows everything about it. And as she's there, another death happens on campus, or murder, and there's certain parallels and things that start to happen. So she's trying to solve the mystery of the previous one from however many years ago, and then the current one. And the deeper she gets, the more secrets are revealed, the more secrets about both mysteries, but about the university itself, all kinds of secrets, really. And while the story's going along, especially in book one, is that every couple of chapters or every other chapter, there's like a passage from the past. So you get a view, it's almost like a journal entry, a view from the past, from the person that was murdered, the people that were around, the people that were at the school, the family, about who was murdered. And then you come back to the present and see the parallels, see how things connect. And it's really, really well done. And it keeps you hooked throughout. Especially going from the second book into the third book. Like, I had to pick it up right away. I read the final two books in about like 3 days, within 3 days. Yeah, it is very, very clever. All of the reveals, there's a few things that I definitely did not see coming. Other ones you can kind of see coming. I think it's technically supposed to be like YA range, but it doesn't act like a YA, so I wouldn't put that to you. I know Stevie is one of the best female protagonists that I've read from, because she is actually honest and straightforward, and like that never happens with, especially in the YA genre, like girls that just kind of act either aloof or lie or just, yeah, whatever, drama with boys. Stevie's not nothing like that. She likes a boy and she straight up tells him something along those lines happened. But it is very, very good. She's a great protagonist. The mystery is awesome, and even the reveal at the end, there's pretty much everything is buttoned up. There's just some things that you could debate a little bit here and there, but there's connections all over. Family, the university has all kinds of secrets. So it is, they can be very, very fast and very worthwhile reads. All right, and the last one is Mortal Techniques. Now, I have an entire video on why you should read Mortal Techniques, but now I want to specify that I think you should because of the clever plots. And while the first two were actual series, Mortal Techniques, each of them are individual standalone books. So you can technically pick up any one of them and just read it, and that's a standalone, good to go. You don't need to keep going, but they all have connections with each other, and they also follow a chronological timeline. So if you start from the first book and go along, it is in chronological order, so that when you go to the next one, it could be, dozens of or hundreds of years later, maybe just dozens of years later, and you see the repercussions of the first book. And there's also mentions of characters in the first book, and you see characters from the first book, and then you go to this third book, and again, there's repercussions from the previous books, and you can even see characters from the previous books, and there's just connections all over, but they're still standalone. And one thing that's also really, really great, and why they're so clever, is the endings are phenomenal. Rob J. Hayes has some of the best written endings. They have some really big hooks. I remember my wife read Never Dies, book one. That's the only one she read, but she said she felt okay, just so about the book until the end. And then the end, she felt a lot better about it. That wasn't like a home run, but still, like, such a great ending, such good hooks, and that's what it's all about. It doesn't feel like there's a big mystery at hand. You're kind of wondering, okay, how are they going to do this? There's usually a quest. They usually have quest type stories, so it is a quest, but at the end, there's still a hook. There's still something you're trying to figure out. There's some seeds planted of how that's going to come to be, and that's what makes it so great. That these other ones, just like, okay, there's definitely a mystery. We need to figure this out, but this one's a bit unassuming. It's like, okay, cool. We're along for the quest, for the action. The action is fantastic. The lore and the mythos are awesome. But then at the end, it's like, oh my goodness, this is a big reveal, a big hook, big twist. It's fantastic. So it's also just so easy because the first two I know are really, really short, or what, really, really short. They're only about 300 or so pages. So you can knock them out really quick. And then Spirits of Vengeance, which was probably to me, it was the best and might have been my favorite book from 2021. So good, so much depth. It is longer, but it's a longer payoff too. So there's that as well. So Moral Techniques, I would 1000% recommend that. It's a clever plot. I can't say too much because there's reveals, but there's also my why you should read video that I can link here as well. So that is the first episode of Top 3 from me about clever plots. You have the Queen's Thief series, it's a 6-book series, but they're shorter books. You got Truly Devious Trilogy, really fast reads, and then Mortal Techniques. They are standalone, but in the same universe. There's 3 books out now. There should be another one coming. I'm not sure how many books they're going to be, but that's my top 3 from me. And please let me know what are some clever books for you, clever plots that you like, that you would recommend. I'd love to know what your top 3 are.